Soup, soup, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Neverdaily podcast, episode 310. Episode 310.
310.
For those in the back door that are like, what? If you deserve a prize if you're in the back door and you're like, hey, hang on, this is episode 311. Well, you're a nerd. Also, you're right. We did one a little while ago and we've banked it so that we have one. Moving into the holidays, things can be sort of a mixed bag when it comes to scheduling for podcasts. There's a fly in here. I'm so mad. I'm mad as a wet hornet in church right now because I was bemoaning my situation. The thermostat for my AC in my studio is outside of my studio in the garage because that's where my AC unit is. So technically the thermostat has no idea how hot it is in here, which is fine most of the year. But come around this time, the garage is like, it bottoms out where the AC unit won't let you go any lower, 64 degrees. So it's like 64 out there. It's 81 degrees in here.
And you're wearing a sweatshirt.
And I'm wearing a sweatshirt because the rest of my world is dark and gloomy today with, hold on, I'm getting a fly.
Get it.
I'm so mad right now.
He just committed murder.
Can you hear this?
Electrical.
Got him. The victory in zapping flies is quickly offset by the smell
I was about to say the smell of it.
of zapping flies. So,
delicious.
But yeah, I'm mad as a wet hornet because in church, I am in here. It's 81 degrees. I should be pampered better than this. There's another fly.
Someone
Sweet
said you should
belligerence.
get them with chopsticks. One of the things about moving into digital is now when you watch those movies and everything's like high def and everything, you can start to see the fishing line that they use to fly the little fly around.
Yeah.
You can literally see him catch the fishing line and then slide it down to the fly and be like,
To
I
the
got
fly.
it.
Huh.
But like back in the day on your VHS, you couldn't see that. It's way too blurry.
Totally.
It just never showed up.
Speaking of old shows, I'm so mad right now. My ADHD is like on
Point.
platinum level. I'm just gonna have to ignore the fly like some kid in Africa.
Oh,
That's on another level. Hold on I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
he's gone.
Nope. He's flying around. Can't do it. Hold on. Nope. He's on my monitor. Can't risk that. Break the monitor.
He's just toying with you at this point.
I'm so mad. So mad. Anyway, I've thought about that a lot as a kid. That was a pretty shocking thing to see as they would show the, midday when I'm not at school and I'm watching TBS, like in between Leave It to Beaver and, Card Sharks. They would show these commercials. It was like just 1 cup of coffee a day. You too can feed a child in Africa. And they would show you the emaciated children in Africa. And they would just be standing there so obviously distended and skeleton, but so tired that they wouldn't do anything about the 18 flies or like around their nose.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
He even puts
I've never been
the
that
animal
tired.
The animal commercial's a shame. In the arms of an angel.
Yeah.
And the dog's always freezing. It's like, how about you just put a blanket on that thing?
You ever this is also a dilemma. You ever think about the fact that all that footage was shot by somebody who's probably wearing a parka?
Yeah.
Or, went to the African tribe community on a full stomach of breakfast,
Yeah.
funded by National Geographic or whoever.
Wearing their,
Yeah.
$800 hiking boots and $400 specialty outdoor pants.
Yep.
Toting around their $8,000 camera.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Speaking of old shows, though, do you know who Kirstie Alley is?
Heck yeah, I know who Kirstie Alley is.
I'm gonna just for the people that don't know, I'm gonna share my screen really quick.
She's the lady who probably has the most well-documented weight loss and weight gain story in the history of the world.
Yeah, yeah. She was just a normal looking gal, in my opinion. When she was so she won an Oscar for her, or Emmy, for her role on the hit TV show Cheers. And then she was also on another one called what's that one called? Veronica's Closet from like 1997 to 2000. She's been in a lot of other, like the Look Who's Talking franchise.
Oh yeah.
And what was this one? Won an Emmy and Golden Globe for her Cheers performance in '91. So anyway, Kirstie Alley, she's I don't know if she's doing anything now. Oh wait, did she die? Yeah. Oh, she did. She died in December of 2022.
Oof.
So she passed away. What I'm going to tell you is actually about her parents dying.
Oh, and here's another one. I just learned Kelsey Grammer, who's also on Cheers, his little sister was murdered by a spree killer in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah. And so every time the dude comes up for parole, he goes to the parole board and says, nope, I don't want that to happen. She was like in her, like, I think she had just barely, she was in between like high school and college or something. And yeah, she just, a random spree killer just got her. And yeah, so I just learned that the other day. So that's crazy that there's a lot of death surrounding the Cheers cast, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, especially this one's gonna get you. Like, so Kirstie Alley's parents died horrifically. And when she called her, she was en route to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall. I think it was a car crash. She contacted her sister and said, where were they going? And she said they were going to a Halloween party. And the conversation went to a place where Kirstie asked what they were dressed as, and her sister said The Odd Couple, which is an even older TV show with two dudes on it, they're just like a mismatched funny pair. It's kind of straight man, funny man.
Mm-hmm.
And but sister says they were dressed as The Odd Couple. Come to find out, it was a really odd couple, not the odd couple from the TV show. They were dressed as an odd couple. Mom was dressed in blackface.
Ooh.
Dad was dressed as a Ku Klux Klan member.
Yikes.
When they died.
Whew.
I thought I kind of held the record for weird death situations with my grandpa, which I've talked about before, where my grandpa died at his home with my grandma there. My mom was, no. Well, yeah, my grandpa was at his house when he died, and I've told this story before, so I'll keep it short. He dies at the house. My mom is at their scrapbooking store. It was at the anniversary sale at the scrapbooking store. So my mom is in full clown regalia.
Oh, yeah.
Rainbow wig, full face makeup, full clown costume. I find out that he's passed away. I make a beeline in my car. When I show up, the EMTs were just stepping away from his body. He's intubated. He's dead on the ground. And my mom is sobbing uncontrollably over his body in a full as a clown. It was, I mean, the EMTs, they have to still be talking about that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts.
They're on
Anyway.
a podcast right now talking about it, actually.
They could be. That was a memory maker for sure. It was like, oh, at what point do you pull your completely distraught mom away and say, maybe you should change?
Yeah, maybe you should. Here's a wet paper towel. Just start wiping your face down, please.
There was just nothing to do. There was no fixing that because she's in a clown costume. It's not like she has a change of clothes, and her face was complete like a 20-minute face paint job.
Yeah.
Not easily fixable to the point where, within a short period of time, she could be mourning with everyone else on the couch without
Yeah.
It was nuts.
It's probably like grease paint, like almost impossible to take off.
Yeah.
Just smears everywhere.
But I think Kirstie Alley's parents have that beat by a long shot.
Yeah.
I kind of miss those days, long for those days. The 90s were even that way to a certain degree. Like you could do something inappropriate and it was viewed in the light that you intended, as a joke or, that's pretty far. Like that's like you're going to a party with really close friends if you're doing that.
Or you don't have any friends.
Yeah, but not everybody was triggered. Not everybody was waiting with bated breath for you to say something so that they could be offended by it,
Yeah.
I mean, the 90s were awesome.
People
90s
just
were awesome.
realized...
We had as much black entertainment TV on normal Thursday nights as and I don't know where that went. But we that's the thing is we weren't like, oh well, it's a full black cast and no one said that crap.
Yeah, it was just you got the best person for the role, and that's what it did.
You watched in living color and just loved every second of the cast and never thought, oh, this is such a diverse cast.
Yeah.
No, nobody did. Also, the politics was minimal. The show was just damn funny, without having to. Anyway. So, something else interesting happened today.
What?
AOL dialed down. AOL ends its dial-up service today after more than 35 years. The decision, announced last month, marks the end of a service once synonymous with accessing the internet. When the company, then called America Online, launched dial-up in 1989, it was among the first. The approach used a modem to convert computer data into audio signals, which could then travel over phone lines. The dial-up tone, as we all know, was so ubiquitous in the 90s that it was considered part of the soundtrack of the decade, with the service inspiring Nora Ephron's hit 1998 rom-com You've Got Mail. At its height in 1999, AOL boasted over 18 million subscribers with a market capitalization of $222 billion.
And that's in 1990s money.
That's 90s money. Broadband internet overtook dial-up in the mid-2000s, thousands of times faster than the service's 56K per second speed. Still, roughly this is crazy, roughly 163,000 Americans relied on AOL dial-up in 2023.
They were all at least 75 years old.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. That's a little over 0.1% of the U.S. population. The company today offers email, media, and data service. It makes you wonder. Like, it's possible, like you said, it's possible that there were users that are still da-dong, that could also be like dumb terminals, or like not this exactly, but there could be really outdated systems somewhere where it just doesn't take a lot of data, like a weather beacon or something like that. So
Or
there could be,
or some sort of like even alarm system,
yeah,
something like that, or like something where you can literally call a number and it will trigger an action on an old system, like you're saying.
yeah.
But
Boy,
what am
I
I gonna
remember
do with
those
all
days.
my discs now? I still have like 800 free hours of AOL on my disc.
Dang
What
it.
am I gonna do with it all?
You've been using them little by little.
Yeah.
I might have mentioned this. Stop me if I did. Sam's 99 4Runner has a tape deck in it and a CD player. He's gotten into burning CDs
Yep.
and buying audio tapes. He goes down to the record exchange and buys audio tapes of like MF Doom and all of his favorite rappers now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'll just, it's fun seeing a kid's eyes light up. This I've mentioned. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm sitting inside the 4Runner. I'm like, well, it's got a tape deck. He's sitting next to me, scanning
can't
the
find it?
entire. Can't find it. Cannot find the tape deck. He's like, where is it? And I was like, tucka tucka on the little door.
Boop, 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 boop.
I found. I don't have it in front of me. I'll share it next time on a Neverdaily. But I found a list of what is or what was questions to ask today's youth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild. I keep saying this, but I might have already mentioned this. My memory's fading, people.
Sam, you need to buy Sam a pack of number 2 pencils for Christmas and say this is for your tapes.
Oh yeah, he's gonna need them.
Yeah, he's gonna need them.
You're right, because mid-drive sometime he's gonna be like, "It's eating my tape. What do I do?" I'm like, "Hold tight. You put your car in neutral." But one of the questions. So if you want a question to ask your kids tonight around the dinner table, or to make you feel really old, say what is the Yellow Pages? And they'll be like, "What?
What?
What is the what?" And then have them think up, like, because they're not going to know, have them think up, like, based on the name, what they think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious.
It's a type of toilet paper. Really cheap, free toilet paper.
It makes you wonder. I mean, we still have like little tiny emblems, iconography everywhere from a generation gone by.
Mm-hmm.
Like the save icon for everything is still a floppy disk. It makes you wonder, like, what do they, when they see that, what do they think it is?
Or if you show them a floppy disk, they just say, someone 3D printed a save button.
Yeah. Oh, they printed. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
You used to have to load software on your computer with like your 15 disks. Okay, now put up the next floppy disk. Okay, now put in disk 7 of 12. Okay, now 9 of 13. Okay. Just put one computer program on your computer.
AutoCAD 12, student edition, because I was poor. I also was like 14, but I went down to the BSU bookstore, Boise State bookstore, and bought AutoCAD educational version.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was still like $70, which is a lot. I mean, but AutoCAD's crazy. But it came on like something like 40 discs, and it was so exciting installing it. I remember, what was funny is I've done a lot of installs on floppy disk like that, where it's one after the other, after the other, after the other. I cannot remember a time where the install failed during the floppy disk process, but I remember plenty of install processes that came on multiple CDs, and you'd have to run them. And those install processes failed all the time. There's a synthesizer audio production software called Omnisphere, and it came on like 8 DVDs or CDs, and I hated it because it would fail. Like you'd install it 4 times to make it work.
Yeah.
The stress, the pit in your stomach, knowing you invested money in this, and you're like, what if it never installs? No one will ever like. I could download Ben-Hur. It's like a 6-hour movie in like 12 minutes now. And I remember when I was at the Art Institute, I'd download like a plugin for Photoshop, and I'd start it before I go to bed and
Yeah.
wake up and pray that 7.5 megabytes was done by the time I had to go to art class, you know?
Or if you're like, if you found a website that had like any sort of photo on it and you're just watching it render line by line, boom, 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 boom,
Render. Oh,
boom,
yeah.
boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
boom, boom, and you're like, I wonder what it's gonna be.
I
I wonder
wonder
what it's gonna be.
I wonder if I'm going to get ripped up. Is this a naked girl or is it not a naked girl? Oh, crazy times. We live
And
in a
then
different
with
world.
CDs, getting used to the scratch part and that just being etched into your memory, and then
Yeah.
going to like now when I listen to certain songs on Spotify or whatever, the skip still plays in my mind when I get to that part. And I'm like, that was just
Hang
my
on.
scratch CD.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's crazy. Also, one thing I do think that's kind of interesting is every like tech industry, every widget, has some memorable like apex where they're like, we have no idea why they overbuilt this or over engineered it this year for that, you know.
Mhm.
Like there's cars where they're like, we don't know why, you know, the 2007 Supra had this engine in it,
Yeah.
but it's now a class, you know, everybody wants it.
Why you can
appa-
buy like an 8.0 liter. There are certain Suburbans that had like a 7.2 or
yeah,
8.0
yeah,
something engine in it for no reason. It's a freaking
it's an LS
Suburban.
engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And there's all these there's little corners of the world where, you know, there's people that are seeking out these apex level products of a bygone era.
Mhm.
One that I'm into right now actually is, for a period of time in the mid 2000s. Well, I don't know what you call. I guess to mid to it's like 20. I'd say 2016 to like 2022, somewhere
Mhm.
in that range. There was a series of desktop computers you could buy and a couple laptops where they started using this SSD hard drive, there's no moving parts to it.
Mhm.
Uh, an SSD hard drive, but it was based off this crazy Intel technology, where we don't use the technology anymore. I think because it was too costly to build.
Mhm.
Uh, but because they built it and they needed to kind of do proof of concept and everything, it survived for a couple of years. But these SSDs are like built like a tank. They can't be shocked and the memory gone.
Uh,
And the crazy thing is they're like, you can find them in these like really nondescript, boring Dell computers that like your grandma might have bought, or, you know, it's weird
yeah.
when you come across something you're like, and so now like preppers and people like data, you know, data archivists are seeking out these specialized like weird hard drives because they're like, these could withstand, you know, the second coming.
Mhm.
Little things like I love that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, like there's certain models of the iPod Classic that are just like that. They're just tanks.
Oh yeah, watched one of those restoration channels the other day. Guy found the iPod stereo
Hmm.
at a pawn at a thrift store, and they were like, I don't know, really expensive when they were out. Obviously, it was an Apple product, but it's got the old iPod link
Yeah.
plug-in, you know, and you put your iPod into it.
Mhm.
Thing was like in pristine condition, had to be cleaned up, but it worked perfectly. He grabbed his iPod, put it in. Like, what a find.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I really like, if you've ever watched Antiques Roadshow, all those guys on there are geniuses, but there's a pair of twins called they're the Kino brothers. And they know so much stuff. And like I'd say their strength is in like um his like 1700s 1800s
Mhm.
furniture.
Mhm.
But the things they know, it's like the guy that knows which Supra to buy, you know?
Yeah.
Like somebody will bring a chair on the show and they'll be like, well, you have a real winner here. Let me show you the dovetail joints. You know, them talking about patina, they can spot. It's crazy. They'll like pull out a drawer on some ancient desk, right? And they'll be like, so the bottom of this drawer isn't original, but it probably was replaced maybe 20 years after it was built. We're talking like something that's the whole thing is hundreds of years old, but
Yeah.
they know that it's like they know that stuff, and I want to be them.
I have 2 iPod Classics. I'm gonna mod because you can put SSD hard drives in them now. You can get like new LCD screens,
Really?
like high def screens. But yeah, you can boost them up to like there's little you get a new motherboard and it has slots for micro SDs. So
Oh, wow.
you can literally put in like 8 terabytes worth of stuff on your iPod Classics now with the
Yeah.
brand new screens, and then the new batteries, they last for like 40 hours or whatever. So you just basically are using the shell and the click wheel. Everything
Yeah.
else on the inside's done. You can even switch it over to the new ports if you want to. But
I just this is gonna sound so nerdy, but I just a, I guess last year, haven't put it together yet, but I bought all the components for a Raspberry Pi um, SAN, which is a network attached device,
mhm.
or NAS, network attached storage. The whole thing is like this, like a pack, one of those like lunch packs of Oreos. The whole thing is that big, but yeah, you can put like a couple terabytes on it, and that's like where all of our Plex movies will live, all of
Mhm.
our photo dumps from our phones,
Yeah,
and you could lose it in your room. It's that small, it's crazy. Crazy what we're getting to.
yep. Technologies.
Marissa says, Raspberry Pi, you got me hungry. I know, me too.
There was a guy at a job I used to have. He made a Raspberry Pi that just had had a bunch of emulators on it, so you could play just about anything from Nintendo 64 previously on it. Like almost every game, he had downloaded them.
Nice.
So he just
You,
had it in the break room and you could just go play.
there's like that kind of like it's on a nerdy level, and most of us will never get there because we're waiting for the majority of the AI world. The majority of us won't really access until somebody creates a product that we can buy that
Mhm.
uses. But Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and all those kind of things, they give you the ability. You can inject an entire AI model onto a Raspberry
Mhm.
Pi, give it a sensor, and have it stare at your front yard, and it'll tell you when a dog or a person or a wagon like, it's crazy what you could do with this little tiny technology. You could throw a whole AI engine on it and use it, and it'll detect everything that shows up in your yard, and then feed you text messages, be like, there's a paper airplane floated into your lawn. It like knows
Yeah.
the different objects. It's crazy what you can do with it.
Because, yeah, it's really annoying when I turn notifications off from my doorbell camera because
Yeah.
it's like the wind would blow and like a branch would move and it's like, someone's at your door. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'd even narrow the field. And then there was times where like it would catch a branch and then a person would have come up to my door, like left a package and left, and it wouldn't even notify me. I'm just like, what is
Right.
happening here? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
And I don't mean, maybe you've gotten to this point, but with like the Ring system in particular, there's nothing creepier than like, there's a person on the side of your house. And that's what it says. There's a person, but then it's like the rain or a spider crawled across it doesn't know.
Yeah.
But they've given it an option now where there's a button or a little thing you can click that says, like this inaccurate response.
Mhm.
And so you can help train the Ring system on, I don't know if it's as smart as object identification. Honestly, that'd just be software updates. The camera's the camera. It doesn't really matter.
So what you're telling me is that if I just put on a giant spider suit, then
Yeah.
it will no longer think that I'm a person trying to break into a house.
It could be. Or right now it will say there's a person, and you'll
Oh.
just be identified as a person in a giant
As a
spider
person,
suit.
but I just have to
Um,
wait till people train it better to stop
Yeah.
identifying spiders. Then I can do it.
This might creep some people out, but it's already here and you're already part of it, so suck it up, buttercup. But the Ring system, Amazon security systems, your iPhone, all of those, you may or may not know it, but you're part of a network, a mesh. Find My Friends, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it knows where you or your, when you go to look for somebody and you see, whoever's shared their access, that they're on XYZ street, or in a house or whatever. The reason it can do that is it uses multiple systems. So it uses the cell phone system, obviously cell phone towers. It uses Wi-Fi, but it also uses other iPhones. So you could literally be driving down the freeway, and the iPhones that you drive by, the iPhones that you're not even interacting with, you're creating a mesh, and that mesh is updating all the time to the Find My or other services. That you'd be disturbed probably by knowing
that's
how
how
many
AirTags
services
work. Like
yeah,
that's
AirTags, same deal.
It's the
Yeah,
exact
they're
same
not like
system.
these massive Sputnik beacons.
Yeah.
They're literally hoping an iPhone is nearby.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's creepy. But also, like,
Well, that's
I don't
why
know.
Apple had to put up that update that was basically like, hey, this Apple device has been following you for this amount of time.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah. I mean, I'm driving to the gym with my brother the other night, and my phone says, hey, there's a set of headphones that are following you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird.
It's like,
Weird.
I know.
Would you like me to tell you a couple things that are true?
Yes.
Okay, here's a couple little mini stories from our friends over at This Is True. He didn't look like he was speeding to me, said one witness who pulled out her phone to video the situation. Others did the same thing, bringing multiple angles of view to Casper Lincoln being pulled over by police in Prince George, BC, Canada, because he was on a busy road. The officer duly recorded vehicle information on the resulting citation, vehicle make, Power Wheels, model, Barbie Jeep, color, pink, license plate, none. He'd borrowed the toy electric car from a friend for a run to the store. It belongs to the friend's young daughter. Police found Lincoln's license is suspended. Just in case for a moment there you thought this was a child on the run. No, it's a full-grown adult who borrowed a Power Wheel because his license is suspended. Police found Lincoln's license is suspended and noticed he appeared inebriated. Lincoln allegedly admitted he was drunk and was arrested. A reporter asked him, does he have any advice for others? Don't drink and drive, he replied. And also to the little kids, never lend your car to these obliviates who want to make their way down the road. Making their way
down to the liquor store.
Here's one more for you. Not very secure enclosures, said Sioux Falls, South Dakota Animal Control Supervisor Patty Beckman. She wasn't talking about the rattlesnake's glass enclosure, but then again, it wasn't the rattlesnake that had bitten the man. It was one of his African forest cobras, which Beckman said he had in plastic bins until they were toppled. The cobras escaped. When the man then accidentally stepped on one of them, it bit his leg. Bites from forest cobras are rare. The snakes tend to avoid humans, but according to iNaturalist, if one does bite you and you don't get treatment, your risk of death is, quote, thought to be quite high.
That's medical terms right there.
I think so. Beckman said you're not allowed to own a venomous snake in South Dakota, and these 3 were moved to reptile gardens in Rapid City. She didn't know their former owner's condition or whether he'd be prosecuted, but we're just hoping he's alive.
Don't step on snakes. No step on snakes.
That's fun. Those are fun. I like that stuff. What'd you bring today, Chase?
I brought some stuff, kind of doing a little revival of a segment I used to do, called The Strangest Shit I've Ever Did Seen. So we're bringing that back. We're going to talk about some cool stuff that people have seen and how weird the world is, I guess, because this place is crazy. So the first one is I worked at a radio station and I was doing...
That was
Wrong
delayed. Sorry.
Yay!
I pressed that a long time ago, and sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it happens. It's Riverside. It just does what it wants to do when it wants to do it.
It's really true.
So I worked at a radio station and I was doing a remote at a car dealership. A woman walked up to us wearing a shirt, an apron type skirt, no back, and men's boots, and nothing else. She had spray paint all around her mouth and kept asking me to buy the special car. Can you imagine, like, you're working at an actual event and someone just high off their butt on spray paint just won't leave you alone? I'd like to buy the special car, please. Please show me the special car. Will you please show me the special car, please? And he said that's all she would say, nothing else. That's it. So the next one, I was walking through the town I lived in a few years ago. Some guy was walking just ahead of me looking like Hagrid from Harry Potter in a long brown wool coat and long hair and beard. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a plant with roots and everything, dropping soil everywhere. He looks down, repots the plant in his pocket, and reaches into the other pocket for his wallet. Since then, I've been totally in awe of him and wonder what he was growing in his special coat.
Makes you feel like you want to repot him, but you probably shouldn't because it
Yeah.
sounds like he's doing the world a favor.
Yeah, report him to authorities. Do
Repot
you ever
that guy.
grow plants in your clothing?
Not in my clothes. No, that would be untenable.
Untenable. Here's one. Someone going through TSA security with 2 Roombas and nothing else. 1 Roomba per bin.
What the?
Like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen through TSA?
Oh gosh, I can't think off the top of my head what the weirdest thing is. I will say, it depending on the industry or interest you have, you'd be surprised what you can get onto a flight. Like, I've got buddies, I haven't ever done it, but I've got buddies that have gone to like Africa for safaris, stuff
Mhm.
like that. And they're loading like an absolute arsenal on that plane.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not carry-on, but like, yeah, they've got bows and like gigantic rifles and stuff, and
Mhm.
they're all in hard cases with locks and, all the beep, beep, beep certification barcodes. And it's crazy.
I was, the other day, we were flying to Texas to visit my brother, and the person checking their luggage in front of us, he was doing everything. He had one of those big, long fly fishing rod cases.
Uh-huh.
He had a rolling hard case golf case. He had his mountain bike case, like the travel case. And then he had some other huge monster thing he was checking. He's doing all of the sports. Like, I'm surprised he didn't have a snowboard with him or a surfboard, because he was doing everything.
That's
Like,
crazy.
wherever he was going.
The people that I feel the worst for, I think, are like skiers.
Yeah.
Because it's such a awkward shape for all their like boots are totally weird shaped and, and not packable. Skis are 1,000 feet long and
Yeah.
not flat. Actually, there's one other. Like, I would bet that like symphony violinists or maybe even violists could probably get away with carry-on for their instrument. But if you're a cellist, forget it.
Yeah.
You got like and your cello's worth so much,
Mhm.
and there's no way you could put enough notification on the outside of that some mouth breathing, airport worker's going to handle it with kid gloves, I couldn't, the stress would be absolutely otherworldly, I would think, to know
Yeah.
that in the hull of the plane somewhere is your potentially broken cello.
I flew once with a handmade full-size acoustic guitar from Madagascar.
You did?
That was annoying, hauling that thing around for 48 hours without sleeping. And then it's like, because they have to have a special closet that they put it in up front, and like you have
Yeah.
to give it to the flight attendants, and then all this other stuff, and yeah, it's not fun, and that's not even that big of a deal. It's still just annoying.
Did you have many transfers? So anyone that doesn't know, so on your mission, you're typically in an area for a handful of months, and then you may get transferred to another city. I was in like 5 or 6 cities on my mission, had a whole bunch of missionary companions.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do transfers in Madagascar?
It was every 2 months.
Every 2 months.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. So when you packed up all of your stuff, what'd you pack it in?
So the nice thing about what I did is most of the areas were in the same city. When I was there was only like 2 satellite cities.
Okay.
So usually what they would do is like the assistants to the president, they would come and pick you up in a van and just take you to your new house. Like
So
that was kind of their job during transfers, was literally
Yeah.
just shuttling people around. So they just pick you up, you'd have your luggage, you'd throw it in the back of the van, they'd take you to your new house and drop you off. And I mean, it was the farthest, usually it'd be like maybe 20 minutes
Yeah.
in between houses, like by, vehicle. And so it wasn't that hard, but if you were going out to the coast, it was just like a Greyhound bus type of deal. So
So everything you had fit in your luggage. You kept
Mhm.
it in your luggage.
Yep.
I collected so much crap on my mission. Like at one point, I remember I was tasked with creating a new mission flag, and
Mhm.
so I had a full blown airbrush and compressor. And we had gone to thrift stores, and I had bought like bowling shirts for days off, and
Mhm.
I had so much. So when a missionary would leave for home, uh, if you were lucky, you got the box that their bike came in at the beginning and that's how we transport. Everybody had a bike box, and you'd throw your bike in, but then you'd pack every inch of that bike box with anything that you didn't mind getting greasy.
Yeah.
You'd throw, so, you had a bike box that weighed 90 pounds, and then you had all your luggage.
And since we were like, halfway across the world, people would just leave stuff. So every house had been lived in by missionaries for 10 plus years. So there's just always extra stuff everywhere. Just people going home, just taking the bare minimums with them. So like all the stuff they had accumulated that they didn't want to take, like it was just always there. So like there was like full weight sets at some of the houses that people had like pieced together over the years and just left, and so like they were pretty well stocked. We had it pretty nice that way.
It being on a mission and living in an apartment or whatever you lived in was a little like playing World of Warcraft or some MMORPG where you go to a location and if you're lucky, everyone that's been there before left a stash for you to sift through. And, oh, hey, I found a magical sword that I didn't have before,
Yeah.
It's
I
crazy.
had somehow lost my bath towels. And so I was literally using like a hand towel for like 2 months to dry off my whole body, and I'm a big dude. And then I went to this new house, and there was like a stack of towels there, and I was just like, this is the best day of my life. I get to use a real towel again.
I will say this, like, there was a lot of like, if there's anything, like the military is a good example of this type of refinement for a young person.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think you've grown up, you're like 18, 19, you think you've come across you went to school, you were in school for 12 years.
Yeah.
You think you know what it's like to be around every shape and color and creed of people. until you get companions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the military is similar, where you're like, man, if all the lights went out in this barracks, I'd murder that guy over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get such weird people sometimes.
Yeah.
I had one missionary companion. I might have talked about him before. His parents lived in like the backwoods of Colorado, didn't pay taxes. It was sketchy. Like, I think he was homeschooled, but that's like not now homeschooled. That was like 80s and 90s homeschool.
Yeah.
You know, when you're done with homeschool in the 80s and 90s, you had two avenues you could take, either accounting or serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And like so many annoying things. The suit that this is a little bit of a longer story, but I'll tell it because it's funny. The suit that he had was like silver. It wasn't like gray, like a silver color, like gray. It was like shiny. It was like Night at the Roxbury kind of suit that he'd wear. And it was the most, I hated every inch of that suit. And then we'd sit in somebody's house and we're trying to like have some like spiritual conversation. And he would itch his crotch with like, but not like subtly either. He would use one digit. He was a one digit itcher. And he would just sit there and like, and I was like, dude, we'd leave and I'd be like, bro, you were itching your crotch again in there. And he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then when he took showers, he would go in, you'd hear the bath water running for like a very specific amount, to like 3 minutes, bath water. It would stop. And then silence. And then you'd hear just an immense amount of banging around in the tub and grunting, like. And like, I let that go for like a month, thinking this kid's so weird. He ate not oatmeal. He would eat like bran meal every morning, and it was like it was as thick as concrete. And wherever you were in the apartment, you could hear. As he ate, I wanted to murder this kid. A month goes by. Finally, I go to the bathroom door. I'm like, what are you doing in there? What are you doing? And then there's like a pause, and then you hear him go, well, I have a certain skin condition where I have to get my body wet, and then I have to put this soap on my skin really quick, and then because it would be bath water, grunt session for like a minute, and then silence for like 8 minutes, and then bath water again. And once he explained it, I was like, oh. And at the same time, I was like, oh, you added one more thing to me wanting to kill you in your sleep. You're just such a weird kid.
Yeah.
Oh. But then I was probably that weird kid to a bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
We all were. We all were.
Everybody was the weird kid. I did have one kid who hated my guts, and I couldn't figure out why. It was kind of my first experience where people either really like me or they just don't. And this kid, at one point I was like, what, man, what is it? Like, why are you so like against me? What is it? And he just said, man, look, I would never hang out with you in high school.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's it. You're just a child. I'm sure he had good reasons, you know.
Maybe. Who knows?
Anyway,
no, that's
did
the
I
point.
just totally derail your...
No, we're supposed to have a conversation. Okay, one time I was on my way to a house inspection and witnessed a man laughing and talking to his chained-up bicycle, getting progressively angrier until he started screaming and fighting with said bicycle. It was my first introduction to weird city people. I'm
He
sure.
was fighting with the chained-up bicycle?
Yeah, it was his bike. He started talking to it, and then the conversation went south, so then they got into a fight. Which, apparently that's normal. I mean, I've seen stuff like that in Portland. There's
Sure.
people just walking around yelling at things that aren't there, other people that aren't there, and just, red face screaming at them, trying to punch them and stuff.
Yeah.
I just go, the Fenty. They on that Fenty hard.
I think we're maybe reaching a point where people are so tired of that. They're tired of getting out of the way
Mm-hmm.
and everything, where I feel like we're coming up on a time where there's gonna be like a real big uptick in like pepper spray sales, where people are just like, no, if you get in my face and you're a crazy person and you're unhinged, I'm just going to say I felt like my life was threatened. I'm going to fill your face with pepper spray. I feel like I want to kind of start doing that.
Yeah.
I want to start pepper spraying people that don't deserve it too. But that might just be my unpent rage coming out.
There's a video I've seen. It's gone around a little bit, but it's literally this guy taking his 2 kids out for ice cream in downtown Portland. And he's like videoing them eating the ice cream. And then he pans up and literally like 15 feet away is somebody literally just freebasing, just doing whatever drugs off their tinfoil. And he's like, it's a 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon here. And this is like literally a downtown street. And somebody's literally just, cooking fentanyl and inhaling the fumes like 15 feet away from his kids eating ice cream. And he's like, this is fun. This is why I bring my kids out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of how things happen when you don't let people just do whatever they want whenever they want to do it. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
I was hanging out in Washington Square Park by the fountain with my buddy. Hot summer day, people have their feet in the water just relaxing. I shit you not. A guy comes up jogging, places his water bottle under the fountain and chugs it, fills it again, and jogs away. Me and my buddy look at each other just like, no way did that just happen, dude. Can you imagine drinking out of a public fountain? Like when you can see people are sitting there with their feet in it?
I have my dad built a retirement community. It was like this giant retirement community. The waterfalls on the outside of it at the entrance. And at one point he calls me, he's like, hey, could you come down? Could you help me? We've got to try to get a family out of the waterfall. And we went down to the waterfall, and it was this Asian family. They did not speak one word of English, but they were bathing, like soap and everything, like naked kids, like the whole stack. And, culturally, like, imagine coming from a place where every bit of water's dirty, or public bathing is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you public bathe, the water's gross. Like, anyone from in certain urban areas in India would know that, that kind of thing. So they were like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
Bath
they were
times.
So happy. And then so sad when we were like, no, you can't.
Is this for decoration only? Decoration only.
But then you think about that. Think about it. It's like, no, this waterfall is for decoration only. And in their mind, it makes sense. They're like, what a waste of a good utility.
Yeah.
Like, why? All the money you spent in keeping the water clear and everything, this could really be something.
Yeah, this could be a perfect bath.
Why are you doing that to us? Yeah.
So the next one. You know those sticks that dog walkers use to throw the tennis ball farther?
Yeah.
I saw a guy just throw the whole thing with the ball attached. He did it twice. Like, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. I guess he's like, oh, this is a new invention called stick and ball. It's things that dogs like both of those, so he just decided to throw both of them. So, yeah. It's like one thing when you do it once, it might be an accident, but the second time kind of just goes, no, they just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like that CCTV video that caught the new guy at the pizza shop who's trying to use the big pizza spatula to scoop it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the pizza's raw, so he gets halfway through it, and then the pizza kind of mushes, and he can't figure it out, and he keeps trying it. And some experienced guy walks by, he's got a whole stack of boxes in one hand, and he grabs the pizza thing, he's like, shoop, and just shows him how to do it.
Yeah.
So he walks away, and the newbie, like, rather than just doing what the guy did, he goes and grabs a stack of pizza boxes in one hand and then does the motion. Like, that was the trick.
Yeah, that's the thing he was missing.
So stupid. But it worked. I don't know. So I can't judge.
Saw an old man in a casino eat 40 or so peppermint candies. He would just put 5 in his mouth, swallow them, then do it again. Like he's just literally eating handfuls of peppermint candies out of his pocket.
I wonder
Because
if
that's normal.
yeah, that's not.
And that's probably also how candy canes are made. But don't.
Oh, cause he ate so much that
Yeah. And then
boy,
it
that'd
comes,
burn coming out.
yeah, it comes out one long, specially one. Okay, next one. When I was backpacking around Ethiopia, I ended up, that's a callback to your African stuff.
Oh yeah.
I ended up staying overnight in some tiny little town whilst waiting for my bus to my next destination. I saw someone walking down the street completely naked with a block of wood clenched between his butt cheeks. It was that strange and illogical that there are times when I question whether I actually saw it or not. Can you imagine just seeing a dude walking down the street, like just butt ass naked, but he's got something clenched between his cheeks?
It makes me think about how sometimes I subconsciously just won't let go of my phone. Like, have you ever had it where you're like filling your hands with a bunch of stuff trying to get out of the car?
Yeah.
You got pockets and
Yeah.
stuff, but you have your prized phone in one hand, and it's not gonna go in a pocket or anything, and so you're like an idiot trying to get everything else in the other hand, and this phone means so much to you, you just won't, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
So
it
stupid.
also reminds me of just like with the phone thing, when people are holding their phone or they forget that they are holding their phone and
Yeah.
they're looking for it while it's in their hand because they're so used to just having it in their hand that it's like
Yeah.
part of them now.
My mom
Or
would do that
the
with glasses
video of the little kid who has his swimming goggles like literally on his head
on his
and he's
head.
just like, "Where's my goggles, mom?"
Yeah.
And he's freaking out like, "Where's my goggles?" And she's just like, she literally goes, "Hey, touch your head," and he does. And he feels them, then just goes, "Where are my like, okay, I did the thing, Mom. Where are my goggles? Now tell me where they are. I did the thing. I touched my head." But yeah, just like sometimes, just weird stuff.
My mom would, she had a habit of putting glasses on her head,
Mhm.
when she didn't need them, sunglasses or whatever. And at one point, she couldn't find her glasses, and she had two on her head. She had stacked two, and just, she's like, I can't
Yeah.
find them. I'm like, well,
Go check
get
the
ready.
mirror. Yeah,
Hear about you're gonna have a great surprise.
you might want to check the mirror real quick. They're in the mirror. They're in the mirror. So here's another one. This one's weird. In my university dorm, one girl ate the same thing every meal. She would eat sliced bread, start in the middle, and eat until it was just the crust. She'd then have an empty frame of intact bread crust. Then she'd microwave lettuce and eat it.
What is wrong with that? Okay, that person has way too much time on their hands.
Yeah, I used to eat almost the same thing every day for lunch when I was in high school. Um, it's I'm a child. I'm gonna preface that I have the taste buds of a child, and I still do. I had the all beef hot dogs like every day for lunch because I lived a block and a half away from the school. So what I would do is I'd literally go home, walk out to the backyard, turn the barbecue on, go inside, go to the well, then I'd throw the hot dogs on when I'd take the hot dogs out of the fridge, go turn the barbecue on, put them on the barbecue, go inside, use the bathroom, come out, flip them, like roll them to the other side, and then I'd go back inside and then get like a drink of water or a soda or something. By then my hot dogs would be done. Like it was the creepiest thing because I did the exact same thing over and over and over again. Like every day, Monday through Friday, it was the exact same. Like if I was wearing the same clothes, you would have thought it was Groundhog's Day at my house.
But you get into a habit, right? You get into a loop of comfort or security or whatever,
Mhm.
I just shared it on the screen, but Angie said she's used her
Phone.
phone flashlight to try to find her phone.
I need a light.
It's crazy.
So here's the next one. On a bus once,
All right.
there was this guy who was shouting at his hand for going numb. He then threatened his hand and told it that if it didn't wake back up, he would smash a bottle of alcohol and stab it with the broken end. I hope the hand filed a report against him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever yelled at a part of your body?
Yeah, every morning I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're a loser to the entire me. When are you going to stop? And my me goes, what? Stop what? And the other part of me goes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have like in those like weird movies where people are getting high and their reflection just starts talking to them.
Yeah.
That's you every morning.
Yeah. My brother Jake has started taking me to the gym. And he, over the last year plus, he's just put in the time and
Mhm.
he looks great. He just muscular and V-shaped, And one of the good things about that is at one point during my like divorce doldrums,
Mhm.
that was my outlet, was the gym and everything. And I went from like 250 to 189. I got down to 189. And I felt and I looked like a machine. I loved it. And Jake was right there with me. We were running all the time together and everything. So it's kind of nice because I look at him and we're built kind of the same.
Mhm.
I think he can put more muscle mass on than me, but it's kind of like having a future you with you at the gym. And also fun because I can be a little bit self-deprecating and he lets me, but yeah, I can like kind of look. And at my birthday party the other day, he was there and one of my friends goes, doesn't it suck having a brother that looks that good? But Jake's response, like last night at the gym, he's like, when that guy said that, I just wanted to show him like the before picture from a year ago and be like, yeah, this was me a year ago when I, wanted to end it all.
Yeah.
But
Still with a Burger King hamburger in his hand.
yeah,
That's the before
exactly.
picture.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Here's a little bit of hope though, is that scientists.
Oh, I don't know where Chase went. Chase has stopped recording. Something went wrong and they're not being recorded anymore. Everyone else is still being recorded. Chase left. So I'm Oh, he's coming back. Here he comes.
I'm back. Yeah, it just said camera stopped working. I didn't touch anything. Riverside just said camera stopped working.
Yeah.
Camera no work.
Well, we're back. We not a lot happened while you were gone. I shared a couple real good stories with everybody.
Couple. 4 or 5.
And some investment tips. So
okay, I'm gonna do one more, and then I'll turn the time over to you.
Okay.
At a concert, sitting behind an extremely sunburnt man, I watched him peel off a sheet of his burnt skin and then eat it as if it was a perfectly normal thing to do. And for me, that just gives a whole new meaning to the word sun chips.
Gross. Double gross.
Yep, I thought I got that. That one came right to my brain. After seeing that, I was like, sun chips.
Is there a part of the body, like if you had to eat a part of the body where you're like, it's probably not bad for you? Is there any part of the body where you're like, yeah, if I ate on that part of the body, I'd probably be okay?
I don't know. Like you can't eat hair because there was that one lady on the My Strange Addiction that had the hair baby in her stomach.
Yeah.
That she had to have surgery to get out. So like you can't eat hair. I don't know. Like I don't know what I would do.
Marissa says the inside of her cheek. I think we're all doing
lip skin.
that.
Lip skin.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you like chew on your lip and get a little piece of lip skin, like maybe you spit it out, maybe you don't. Well, yeah, I could see that. But anything else, like, because I don't know, man.
I think it's EB. I'm not quite sure. Tacos and bitches. And it's a quote. It's her name, so I can say it. She says, they say fingernails. I can't say what Molly 42 said. I don't think that's true. It is a trend right now, but I don't think. Also, eating your own of that. I don't know if that's
physically possible.
You've got a job in the circus if you can do that.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the lobby of a doctor's office one time, and there was a mom and her daughter and her son, and her son was probably like 9 or 10, and he was just nose into a book, just couldn't be brought out of the book. Girl's staring at me, just 2 knuckles deep in her nose, pulls her finger out and just sticks it right in her mouth. And the mom's like, stop. Oh, gross. Don't eat your boogers. kid pulls his nose out of his book and he's like, actually, there's studies that say that people that eat their boogers have a better immune systems. And then he just goes right back in his book. And I've never been able to not think about that now. Like,
Thanks, Dwight Schrute.
I wonder if that's true. Like, kind of if you think about it, eating your boogers, it kind of makes me like, I'm not sure I can finish this thought, but it's your body's response to capturing stuff that your body doesn't want in your lungs or your airway.
Yeah.
So it's a collaboration between your body's immune system and capturing things that you don't want in your airway.
Mm-hmm.
And if this kid's right, and if he's right, eating it would be sort of like eating like some kind of like antimicrobial pill in a way. Like
Yeah.
if I have to like go really sciencey and just zero out the ick factor. Because that's what a vaccine is.
I was about to say that's how vaccines work.
I mean, on another level, like,
Well,
I'm
that's
not
like
quite. Yeah.
my wife's friend, her family runs a esthetician school, and she's like a master esthetician or whatever.
Yeah.
And one time she did my nose hairs, and she was like, "There's actually a little bit of a science that goes into this, because if you go too high and get too many nose hairs, then it can start causing you problems, because like those hairs are supposed to be there." And she's like, "So what we're doing is we're focusing on the lower hairs that hang out of your nose, but we're not trying to get all of the hairs." She's like, because then that can cause you to have breathing problems. Like your nose will dry out faster, and then like you can get, easier get sick. And so like they actually teach that in their schooling, like, hey, don't get too many of the nose hairs, just get the lower nose hairs. That's the whole point.
That makes sense. Also probably keep people coming back a little bit because it's not quite as much of a nightmare pain wise.
Actually, it doesn't, when she did it for me, it didn't hurt. It literally just felt like someone jammed two, like for lack of a better word, it felt like I jammed both my fingers up my nose. When she pulled it out, it felt like something went up into my nose. Like it was
really?
it felt really weird. It was like the reverse of what I was expecting. Instead of something feeling like it was coming out, it felt like something went in. So I was just like, but I could still breathe. But there was like almost like a pressure.
With the pressure of the sticks in your nose and then pulling it out and that many follicles being cleared suddenly of pore or whatever that you'd call the empty space that a hair follicle's in, suddenly all those are freed. It probably was quite a rush of blood to the area, which would feel like something's going into your nose.
So like, it didn't hurt. There was just like pressure. But yeah, like when you're doing onesie twosies of nose hairs, that doesn't feel good. But a whole bunch, I think it just like overloads your system, and it's just like, nope, I'm not even going to try.
Interesting. Here's a weird thing I just learned. I was 49 years old before I knew this, but whatever ends up in your urine is not a straight path from your mouth to your stomach to your urine. Your urine is a byproduct of what's been processed out of your blood.
Yep, your pee is just blood. It's
it's an extract
filtered
from
blood.
your blood. It's extraction from your. It's the I always thought it was like mouth, stomach, intestines, bladder, urine. But it's not. It's mouth, stomach, absorption, blood through the blood, a blood barrier into your bloodstream. Blood passes through bladder. Bladder extracts toxins and other detritus from your. Interesting. I also learned this, in case there's anybody out there that's taking methylene blue. I've been taking it for a while. That stuff shows makes your pee blue. If you're eating unhealthily and everything, you're going to have green pee because you're going to have a dark yellow urine plus methylene blue. But methylene blue will show up in your urine as,
So your blood is actually kind of blue for that little bit. Not really, but kind of.
If you think about it, if you're extracting, like if it has to empty into your blood, into your urine as blue, then it goes into your body as blue. is absorbed through the stomach lining or intestinal lining into your bloodstream as blue.
Yeah.
And then the blue part is extracted into your urine. I learned something interesting though, because I've had a couple times where I've taken a whole load of methylene blue and then like didn't pee blue. And I was like, what's this wizardry? You know, a whole 2 days would go by and none.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh no. You know, do I have like some Minecraft cube growing inside of me and it's just, you know, lapis lazuli now? It's like, oh no, what's happening? So I turned to my doctor, Chat BFT,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, why is this happening? And it said, oh, well, what's happening is, let me guess, you're also like something in your diet around that same time that you're taking it incorporates vitamin C. And I was like, yeah, actually. And it said, oh, well, vitamin C, when it comes in contact with methylene blue, converts methylene blue to leucomethylene, which may have some medicinal benefits still, but one of the things that it does is it neutralizes the blue color. And so it's just, you've converted it. Stop doing that. Like take it at night instead of the morning when your orange juice is
Mm-hmm.
juicing your body. So I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yummy.
And the human version, if anyone's wondering, if the human version of methylene blue tastes just like the fish tank stuff. It is the fish. There's no way to mask that. It is a straight up chemical taste. There's no way to mask it. But I've also kind of learned that nutrition, like nutritious supplemental kind of stuff, just pound it. Just, you know, there's only so much they're going to be able to do to mask the flavor of things that, you know, you need supplement.
Learn how to choke it down.
Suck it up, buttercup.
So what did you bring today?
What I brought was, I brung something. I thought we'd talk about dreams.
I have those.
And kind of dig into the weirdness of dreams. You know, like you ever like had a dream and you wake up and you're like, dang it, why is my brain such like why is it like an excellent movie director?
Mm-hmm.
And why am I so surprised when it presents a new movie? Did I get abducted by my own brain? You know, that kind of a thing. So it's true though. Like when we go to sleep, like our brains, somehow we can separate or bifurcate our awareness so that we're literally like watching a stage play or like some kind of mad courtroom drama.
Yeah.
You're both the suspect and the witness in it though, you know, and also your brain's the jury and you have no control over it. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about this. So let's get the absurdity out of the way first. So we know more about Martian dust storms than we do about nightly hallucinations. Actually, we've mapped the Mariana Trench, which is that gaping abyss on the ocean floor, better than we've mapped what goes on behind your eyelids. But we all dream, and we are trapped in our own detective novel every night, where the only person that doesn't know the story is us, and the only person that knows the story is us. So for years, scientists said dreams were basically static, like brain noise, and that they was meaningless. If that was true, though, why would your brain paralyze your muscles during REM so you don't walk into the wall? You know, why run energy intensive simulations instead of doing repair work? You know, why is it doing this? Like if my body has to heal while it's asleep, why is it running an HBO special? It doesn't make it, you know. So why is REM sleeping evident in the womb even before you've had the chance to live or learn anything? They've identified REM sleep within babies in the womb. So that rabbit hole goes pretty deep. So we're going to go down 5 levels, from seeing geometric squiggles to full-on lucid battlegrounds. It's kind of like Inception, but with a little more existential dread and maybe a couple less explosions. So the entry point here is going to be pattern prison. So this is the threshold before you even reach real dreaming.
Mhm.
There's a weird state called hypnagogia, which sounds like something someone writes on a sign when they're looking to get picked up on the side of a freeway. But that hypnagogia is a fuzzy space between awake and asleep. It's sort of this limbo where your brain trashes raw fragments, usually in geometric patterns, so like tunnels and spirals and webs. And early researchers like Heinrich Klüver in the 1920s cataloged these as precursors to vision. So they're the bouncer sort of at the dream club. So you can't get in until you pass through them. So this is stage 1, an inevitable stage 1. So one theory is that your visual cortex gets lonely overnight. So dreaming preserves its turf. So if that cortex goes dark, then neighboring brain areas kind of move in like squatters. But those patterns, they're the threshold for that area, that turf. Some people report them, some don't. Either way, once you pass through it, you're in. So you get through pattern prison and you've moved into sleep modes. So the next one is called what we'll call sparse landscapes and emotional scaffolding. So here's where the brain kind of begins to draw outlines, but doesn't really fill in the details yet. So you're not quite in the dream yet, but the stage is kind of being set. So kind of think like vast emptiness, weird geometry, hints of places, but nothing like really convincing or identifiable. That emptiness is what lets your emotional brain kind of yell into the void and ultimately force something to take shape. So think of it like as the precursor to lucid dreaming. So we're trying to kind of kick off the dream state. So the brain, it borrows memories that are tagged with strong emotions in this phase, like fear and sadness, anger, not your everyday grocery list of like the stuff that you think of when you're awake. So, but it repurposes these into these kind of skeletal landscapes. So there's no plot yet. There's no like characters. It's just pure emotional scaffolding. It's like your brain's like making a crime scene diagram, but there aren't any witnesses yet. So like, it's interesting. My wife has like recurring dreams of being in a certain house that she lived in, but she can't get out of the house. You know, and it's sort of like I've realized that trying to like answer someone's dream for them is a little on par with like if someone says, does this dress make me look fat? Like you're entering into territory where they might not might not be interested, because I'm like, well, maybe you don't have closure about that part of your life, and she's like, that's uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to think about that. And I'm like, maybe you should confront it. So the next phase, the next rabbit hole level here is metaphor and sort of the mission of dreaming. So everything kind of starts clicking into place here. This level's where your brain takes those kind of emotionally charged memories and starts spinning them into actual scenarios. So the classic would be like the airport dream. So you're late and you can't find your gate. The gate disappears. You get lost. You miss your flight. Months later, same plot. It could be hotel or a cruise ship this time.
Mine's high school. I don't
Is
know
it?
why. Mine, I go back, like I go, I'm in high school and I go, I'm supposed to be in a class right now, but I don't know what class I'm supposed to be in. And then I try to like pull up my phone to look up my schedule, but my phone doesn't work. So then I'm like, I don't know where my class is. I know I'm supposed to be there. And then at some point my brain goes, you graduated high school like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, I don't even need to be in class anymore. And
I'm
that's
not
the
even
end of
in
that.
this dream. It's
Yeah.
not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's weird about it though, and you just kind of defined that, is how like current day logic doesn't set in right away. Like we've dispelled with our current situation, you know, the plot and the scenery and the stage could be set in a setting that was decades old, but it's like real. Like we've gained no, I think what's also funny about this phase is we've gained no more real knowledge to navigate that scene any better, even though it's 20 years old than when we were there. It reminds me of a Nate Bargatze joke. He says, you know, if I had the ability to go back in time, I'm not even quite sure I could change anything. Like he goes back and he says, I'd go back and like someone would pick up an old heavy like earpiece phone in the 20s and taka 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 taka, and I would say, you know, one day your whole phone was going to fit in your pocket. And they'd be like, really? How does that work? And he'd be like,
I don't know.
I don't know. Satellites or something. And they'd be like, what's a satellite? And he'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Like, if you think about that too, like I've thought about that. I'm like, okay, well, if I could go back in time and land at a point where I could like invest in a company that's successful, and then it happens, I'd be like, oh crap, I don't know what moment to go to invest in Microsoft. I don't know when's a good time. Like when did Twitter start? Like I don't know anything that would be beneficial. Like I would be no good at planning that route without a whole lot of Googling ahead of time, you know.
There'd be a handful. I would first, because like it's like, oh, how are you going to get any capital? And well, all you have to do, if you have any sports teams that you like, and if they ever had a huge upset, just go scrounge up as much money as you can and put it on that. And that's it. That sports betting would be the easiest way, because it's like, I mean, it's just like the whole Back to the Future 2 thing, right? Like that's how he made his money, was betting on a sports almanac that he had.
Something very A-B.
Yeah.
It started an hour at a specific hour on an evening, and it ended 2 hours later.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's just like, and you don't even have to remember the score. You just know, oh, this was a huge upset. I remember hearing about this, and you just go hit that money, right? And then you have your capital, and then and I think Mateo brought it up, then you just hit Bitcoin, and you're set. Like you're done.
That would probably be like, if it were possible to go back and plant a seed that when I come back, the seed had been planted and flourished, Bitcoin would probably be the one. Again, though, I'd have to Google a good bit. I mean, I've had Bitcoin and I've paid for stuff with Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot, but to be really honest, like I do it so sparingly that I don't really remember.
You need a wallet.
It'd probably take me 30 seconds to find my wallet on my phone, you know? And then like, what can I can't remember, do I prepay onto that, or do, you know, there's always a wait period too. Like, I'm like, oh, some Russian guy where I'm buying some illegal thing from, he'll be like, you can pay me in Bitcoin. And I'll be like, okay, give me a second. And I'll go like, you know, bank preload Bitcoin. And then it's like, this funds will be available in 10 days. I'm like, I don't know how this works. Go back to the Russian guy. Oh, it's gonna be a little bit of no problem. Let me know when it's ready. You know. But anyway, so level 3, we're still in there. So at this level, dreams are metaphors, kind of like mini machines. The metaphors are like identity, fear, desire, conflict, loss. So your brain picks one and starts writing everything to serve that central themes. The logic is emotional logic. It's not movie logic either. It's just what feels right for your brain rather than what makes sense. And I find it really interesting that what feels right to the brain most often is like, how can I punish me?
Mm-hmm.
like I can't think of, I don't know anyone where they're like, every dream I have is awesome. Like, unless it's like medically induced or, substance or
Mm-hmm.
something. And even then, I think most of those people are not like, every dream I have is awesome, And if they are, they're lying.
Yeah.
Because the brain, and so something about the brain says, look, these are things you're working through. And so I'm going to really put them on stage because that's the main food you've given me.
Mm-hmm.
I heard something last night on Instagram. It's a black and white, probably from the 50s. This guy was on a panel and they said, what is the best way to control your thoughts? And he said, the majority of time, our brain is in two modes. It's either in worrying about the future or anxiety about the past.
Mm-hmm.
No, not anxiety, depression about the past. Because anxiety is feeling out of control about things that haven't happened yet. And depression is could be, there's variations on a theme, but one of them is regret or mulling over things from the past. And he said, neither one is a reality because you can't do anything about either one.
Mm-hmm.
He said, so the real exercise in controlling your brain is trying to be right there, right then.
Mm-hmm.
And the closest I've gotten to that is like thinking about where my feet are, and if I can do that, if I can think about where my feet are placed, it kind of transfers through the rest of my body. And I'm like, this is where I'm at. So
I have a
one
suggestion. This is one of the only self-help books I've ever read that I was like, that wasn't just canned bullshit. It's called The Practicing Mind. And it's literally what you're talking about. It's about developing a mindset of living in the present, and tricks and tools you can use to maintain keeping your mind in the present and not focusing on the future and what might happen, or focusing on the past, on things that you can't change anymore. So it's just called The Practicing Mind. I'm trying to find Tom M. Sterner, I think is the author of it. So my internet's not interneting. There, the Thomas M. Sterner, The Practicing Mind. So yeah, it's like $10 on Kindle, or you can get a paperback copy for $10.
Cool.
Audiobook. I have the audiobook version of it, but yeah, it's just very much, really good on, how to focus on the present and why you don't want to focus on the past, why you don't want to focus too much on the future. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, but it's
No,
just,
not at all.
it's one of the only self-help books I've read that I'm just like, okay, that is decent. That's actually helped me.
I've kind of, I think I've done myself a disservice because I've always been very anti self-help book and anti like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of turned off by the Gary V's and the guys that are like, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and I crush it all day long. And,
Jocko
I'm just like,
Willink or whatever his name is. He's that dude.
Yeah, Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
he's a badass, but at the same time, yeah, he's like, if you're not up by 3:30 and you haven't run 8 miles every day, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. One thing that I love that he said, and there is something about this mindset, is he's got this mindset around the word good. And when something bad happens, you define the thing like, this happened, and then you tell you just say good, and then you put your head down, and so there's a lot to it, and where I've built kind of a life and multiple careers around like what I would call my street smarts and my like whatever talent I've got in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been like, thanks, but no thanks, Gary V, Jocko Willink guy. Yeah, whatever. But like to your point, sometimes probably more than we would like to think, reading something like The Practicing Mind or understanding the science behind things can help us kind of get out of our own tide pools where we keep repeating history and expecting different results,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's great.
And
That
you'd
one's
like it
good.
because the guy who wrote it, he is like a concert pianist type level. And what he does is he actually tunes pianos. His like day job is actually tuning. He used to tune pianos for concerts,
He's a
like the really nice, like super fancy pianos. And so like one of his things is like when you get into the practice, of the practicing mind, it's maintaining present things. And he's like, it's so funny. He's like, it can take 8 hours to tune a concert piano. And he's like, but like when I was first learning my teaching myself how to do this, the practicing mind, he said there was times where it felt like 2 hours. It'd be 8 hours later. He's like, because maintaining that focus, I'm not worrying about anything. Like, and he's like, it was just nice. And he's like, everything starts to get easier when you maintain present, like focus on the present. Like everything in life starts to become easier.
This guy, he said something, and I think it begs more explanation, but he said something to the effect of, he said, in order to be present, you can't be planning for the future. And so I think that probably begs a little more explanation because you can't, I mean, we're not all hippies, we need to be able to find those moments. But I think what he was saying is in the moments of repose, in the moments where, where you're not intentionally in the activity of doing something, like you're talking about the practicing, like if you're in a mode of doing, let your brain be there actively doing rather than doing the thing plus also worrying about what's not getting done or what you didn't do or what's coming later in the day. I'd love that personally because I'm the kind of person where it's gotten so bad that if I like it's Tuesday, if I have something scheduled for tomorrow at 4, mentally I'm spent until like
you got task
I feel
paralysis.
like I can't do anything between now and tomorrow at 4 in my brain. Like it's taken over. That's weird. It shouldn't be that way. And then there's other people that like thrive on having schedule and structure. And like, if there's gaps in their day, they feel listless. And I'm like the perfect opposite of that. It's weird. So yeah, I'll check that book out. That's really good. So, let's see. Okay. We're moving on. Level 4. When dreams start running themselves. So here's where things kind of start getting spooky. Level 4 is where your dreams stop being your dreams and they feel like someone else is sort of writing them for you, but with your fingerprints all over them. So you'll see recurring characters you haven't thought about, like even in your day. Like you'll finish the dream and you're like, why did I think about that person? And there's no connection, no visceral tissue that's connected to any thought you had during your daytime or places you've never been. But they seem really vivid and detailed. So people in this phase, people can report meeting the same figure over decades in dreams. Have you ever had that where like you keep meeting the same person that you've never met in real life in your dream? You ever had that? I have one. It showed up a lot when I was a kid. Not as much now. And it's more of a nightmare than anything, but I have I had this recurring dream for years and years where it was, like a dust bowl, like the late 20s, early 30s, like dust bowl, just desert, arid ground, sparse, dead plants and a wood shack. And I'd be walking and there'd be a woman who's beckoning me to the shack. And I'd go there and she felt motherly to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I felt comfortable around her, you know, and she sets me on her lap and kind of leans me back, and I'm comfortable the whole time. And then she sticks a syringe in my eyeball,
Hmm.
and then I kind of wake up. Um, it was always jarring. It was
Mm-hmm.
weird, but yeah. So like during this layer, this is where like dreams of being chased are really universal.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is one. You run and you trip and you can't get up fast enough. You can't run fast enough and you're caught, or maybe not ever caught.
Yeah.
But no matter how hard you fight, you fail. In level 4, your brain is trying to extract meaning, and it's combining kind of your personal experiences, so that top layer, with universal emotional patterns, so the very bottom layer. So the chaser might be someone you know, or it might be just an abstract fear. In level 4, you're getting both personal symbolism and primal terror. Primal terror, I think, is a great way of putting it. This is a very primal level. And then you got level 5, which is lucid. Or you might call it maybe too close for comfort in some cases. So this level is the dreamer's kind of final frontier. You're asleep and you know you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a weird awareness. Like you've come full circle and now you're asleep, but you're somehow on the other end of it, and you're aware that you're asleep, and your awareness changes everything. So it's like breaking into the control room of your brain. So when it goes well, you fly, you could reshuffle scenery on your own demand. You do insane things.
Go wherever you want.
Yeah. But when it goes wrong, that's where like terrifying encounters with dream characters can come out to play. Some wake up the dreamer angrily shouting, like, you weren't supposed to know, things like that, where there's still a lot of mystery meat in level 5, but to a certain degree, you are the director in a way. So there's the nesting dream cycle. So like you wake up, you go through your morning, you look in the mirror and it's wrong, and you blink and you wake up again. Mirror, wrong again, over and over. Some people say it loops 5 or 7, like maybe sometimes even like 10 times. And each loop is inching like closer to reality, but never quite lands. It's sort of this edge of reality kind of horror. This is also where sleep paralysis can sit, because you're in complete control, but you're also in not complete control of anything. So it's this really wild place to be. There's people that like, there's therapists who like made professions out of saying, oh, you could control your lucid dreams, so you can put yourself into this state, apparently, in some cases. I've never been able to do that.
One of the tricks I heard was that, because like sometimes you'll realize you're dreaming and then usually you wake up very quickly after that. Like you might have a couple seconds. So one of the tricks that I've actually done, it doesn't work all the time, but it has worked before, where I've gotten an extra like maybe 5 or 10 minutes out of it, where you look down at your left foot and you start turning to the left, just staring at your foot in your dream, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you'll look down, you'll see your feet, and then you just concentrate on your left foot while you just turn in circles, turning, that would be what, counterclockwise.
Right.
So yeah, that's worked for me. It's bought me a couple minutes though, like at most. And then I just go, oh, I'm freaking, this is dreaming, and then my body's like, time to wake up, you're asleep.
Yeah. I heard one the other day, and it does work. I've tried it since I heard about it. A way to get back to sleep if you wake up in the middle of the night, and that's obviously middle of the night and you need to get back to sleep. So you close your eyes and you look as hard as you can to the left.
Okay.
And you hold that for a series of seconds. And then you look as hard as you can to the right. Hold it. Then look up. Hold it, look down, hold it, and then look all around like you're looking from the ground to the sky with your eyes closed the whole time. And this gal was like, I've never gotten through more than 3 cycles of that before I'm back asleep. And there is something, it's wild, where we're literally shutting down the visual stimulus of your eyes, but your eyes seem to play a pivotal role in maybe all or certain levels in our sleep state. I also think sleeping is just wild. You think about it, like, we decommission our ability to operate or physically move or protect ourselves or anything.
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of funny when you think, like, imagine we wouldn't be here anymore if there was a creature on the earth who had the same mental acuity as us, but never had to sleep.
Yeah.
They would have killed us all.
Mhm.
They would have been like, these dummies have to, peace out once a day.
Yeah.
We just wait till they're in that state and then we eat them.
Like, either that or we'd still be living like back in the day where there's, you have people on watch and, you have to take your time, like take your turn being on watch that night. Like we'd still be living like that. Well, with technology, it'd be a little bit different, but, we would have to literally be defending ourselves nightly.
Yeah. I won't give much away just in case anybody's waiting to watch the movie. There's a movie coming out with Ryan Gosling in it called Project Hail Mary. And he's on this like mission in space.
Mhm.
And he ends up interacting with someone that's not human.
Mhm.
And the one weird thing about it, it's not really a giveaway or anything, but when that non-human entity sleeps, they want to be watched. So when he goes to sleep, he's like, I sleep, you watch. And he's like, what? That's weird. I'm not going to watch you. He's like, you watch. Because apparently, like, on their planet, when you're asleep, everyone watches you. And so I'm mid-book, so I'm not quite sure if it's like a method of protection or what it is exactly, but
or it could be
I was
like
curious
there's an episode of the X-Files, and guess what? I'm not spoiler alert if you haven't seen it by now, that it's like 40 years old at this point. 30 years old, so it's your fault. But they had like an episode where they had soldiers that they had like messed with their brains so they couldn't sleep anymore. But then after like 10 years, they were all going completely insane. And like they were, like just going completely insane. They had flashbacks to Vietnam because that's when they did the experiments, and they were just, they were awake, but they were thinking they were being attacked by the Viet Cong, and they were just killing people and left and right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just, sleep's crazy. A lot of cool storylines too that come from sleep or lack thereof.
There's just so many. Like, I'm kind of in a mode lately of just feeling how silly our brains are, like how easily chemicals modify our reality. Like yesterday, I woke up, terrible day, like for no reason either. Like I woke up and I was just useless. I felt useless. I was mid prayer and I'm like, what am I even doing here? Like everything I've said in this prayer, I've said 1,000,000 times. I'm sure he's sick of hearing from me. I haven't made any changes. What am I even doing? I was in a bad spot, like all day long. And my wife, she went away. She went and cleaned a home. She cleans houses. And so I had the girls, and it was like everything I could do to like write and research and sit at the table and not like project, like every mess they made, I was just like, okay, this is a normal day. It's a normal day. They're not being demons. They're just normal children making slime again for the 80th time, and it's all over the floor. And, and then my wife gets back. She's just so good to me. She's never been like, fix it, asshole. She's just like, what do you need? What do you need? And I'm like, I don't know. Like every pathway I look at, it looks like it's a dead end and this and that. And she's like, go to the gym. I was like, okay. And I start going to the gym, and my brother Jake texts me and something random. And I'm like, I'm heading to the gym. And he was like, I'm heading to the gym too. You want me to just keep driving? Like he lives in it. Like you have to plan to go between our houses. There's a good 30 miles, I think, between our houses. He's such a good guy, you know. He's just like, I'll just keep driving. He drove here, drove to my gym, met in the parking lot. We go and we have a great workout. We're sitting there. It's already dark outside by the end. We're talking. And I look outside. It is raining buckets. And I was like, do you have your convertible here? And he's like, oh, crap. Bye.
Oops.
Runs out. So, and it helped, you know. I went to the gym and it kind of rewired my brain. I don't have any answers, but
Most people
that
don't.
helped. Yeah. Well, anyway, that is today's show. And talking about brains and weird stuff, I have no idea why anyone listens to this. like you think about everything we talked about, like
You learned how candy canes were made.
This candy cane has corn in it. Weird. But thank you to the 12 people who visit.
Yeah, we learned how sun chips were made.
We learned. Oh God, that one just about got me. That almost kicked my. I don't have much of a gag reflex, but that one just about got me. Like the booger one didn't get me as much as sun chips got me. Like that's saying so, because that just. Oh, I don't know why.
Oh, delicious.
I don't know why. I want to keep talking about it, but I don't want to keep talking about it. So let's end this thing.
Let's.
All right. We'll be back a couple days from now because this is the Neverdaily podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Soup, everybody.
Bye-bye. Soups.
So soup, let's start the show.